couple of stocks very much in the news. We'll start with Facebook, sharply higher this morning, despite what appears to be a worsening of its scandal. We're going to ask about that. It's up 3.8%, nearly $6 high, 161. And Tesla, same story. Look at that, up again. Just yesterday, it was in the 250 range. Now it's 290. Who's going to help me figure out what's going on here? I will tell you this. Ashley Webster's here, Liz McDonald's here, Brian Bremberg and Scott Martin. OK, I think the economy is looking very, very strong. President Trump is going to tout the economy when he goes to West Virginia today. Scott Martin, a strong economy, is that now more important for the stock market than trade or scandal?
It should be, Stuart. But what we've learned in these last few weeks and months is that there's times when, frankly, the market wakes up in a bad mood, doesn't it? And it tweets, or the tweets that it sees, it relies on, and it thinks that this is gospel or truth. And as Brenberg's been saying, because I've been watching him since I haven't seen him on the show in a while, this stuff needs to be moved through quickly, because the longer it hangs around, the longer the market worries about it, and we see sell-off. So you're going to get a good jobs number tomorrow with the non-farm payrolls report. That leads into probably a better GDP report later this month. I think that's good economic fundamentals as far as I'm concerned.
Ash?
And earnings. Let's not forget earnings. Yeah. The projection for the S&P, 17.5% growth year over year. That would be terrific. That would also go a long way to tamp down some of the jitters on this market. Focus on the fundamentals, not the tweets.
Strong economy, strong profits reported the next 2 or 3 weeks. Lizzie?
Yeah, and we are. Look at the jobs numbers coming in. Look at the data out of the Midwest. There are basically more job openings than there are unemployed people in the Midwest. That's what the Wall Street Journal's reporting. There's a labor shortage in construction, in all sorts of tech jobs and manufacturing jobs. That's a big deal. We'll watch that in the jobs report when it comes out
And
tomorrow.
we have opened high. We're up 118 points. Dow Industrial is at 24.3. Got that. Now, Facebook says that Cambridge Analytica may have had data on 87 million people rather than the 50 million we thought. Separately, Zuckerberg will testify before Congress next Wednesday. Scott Martin, can you explain to me why you've got this negative stuff on Facebook, but the stock this morning is going real strong? It's up $5. Why?
Simple case of the stock got overdone, Stuart. I think the news got a little bit ahead of the stock, or the stock maybe got ahead of the news, however you want to phrase that. But the reality is that Facebook is going to be fine. Now, there's going to be some changes that are going to be made. I think Zuckerberg kind of getting out in front of this, as he did, you know, I know the apology wasn't great, but he's continued to talk here and there. He's gone against Tim Cook with some of the comments Tim Cook has made, but he's defended his company, Stuart. And that's really been my point. I've been accused and attacked because I've been like this Zuckerberg fan or this fanatic about what he did. It's about what he's done for his company and how he stood by what Facebook is and what they've done and how they're going to improve. And that's what's happened before in the history of this company. He's always taken these lessons and made Facebook better. I think this is no different.
Whether you believe it or not, I think Scott's right. I think the comments we had from Zuckerberg yesterday has soothed some of the fears among investors. However, when he goes in front of that House committee next week, if he fails miserably and looks completely out of his depth, that will hurt.
Facebook's back to 161 as we speak. And by the way, the Dow Industrials are up 163 points, bright and early this Thursday morning. We better take a look at Tesla. There's another stock that's been in the news with a lot of negatives. However, that stock is up again this morning. Just the other day, it was around 250. Now it's 291. You want to explain that one, Scott Martin? What's going on with Tesla?
You know, I hate sounding like a broken record. This is a simple Facebook situation, too, where some of the news got overdone. You know, Stuart, we talked about this earlier this week about, yes, the problems with the manufacturing, and then this terrible, I guess I'd call it mistimed tweet from Elon Musk about bankruptcy on April Fool's Day when those rumors were circling. Which was not well-timed and not well thought. But, you know, the reality is this. Tesla should be okay because they have the one golden goose that everybody wants, which is demand. So once they figure out some of these manufacturing issues, these production issues, yes, the technology is a bit of concern, especially with that accident a couple weeks ago on the 101 in San Francisco. But they have the demand, and that's really where it counts, as long as they can get the cars off the line.
Markets also liking Elon Musk saying that Tesla will not have to come back into the capital markets and raise capital and borrow more money this year.
Yeah, I guess the market liked that one, and the stock is up.
Yeah.
Check that big ball, because this is the high of the day. Now we're up 170-odd points, 172, 24,300. I'm sorry, 24,400 is where we are. How about Bitcoin? That doesn't lead the markets. I don't think it follows it. I think it's moving independently. And it's below $7,000 this morning, $6,671 per coin. The GMO company, that's genetically modified organisms, Europeans hate this. Monsanto is the GMO company. Profit falling short, but nonetheless, the stock is pretty much dead flat, 117 on Monsanto. All right, General Motors and Ford, they are saying goodbye to their subcompact cars. The smallest cars they make, they're leaving them behind. They're going away from them. This is all about cheap gas, isn't it?
Yeah, well, sales of these cars fell 25% last year. So number one, I don't want to sell cars that nobody's buying. Number two, we've got cheap gas. And number three, big cars are more fuel efficient. So I can drive a bigger vehicle and still get the benefit of the cheap cost of gas.
Yeah.
So really, there's very little reason, unless you like being in a tight space, there's very little reason environmentally or economically to buy one of these cars. So why sell them?
You know, and look what Ford is saying. Wow, look at this data point. Ford is saying by 2020, 90% of its inventory will be SUVs, will be trucks, it will be crossovers. 90%. So you're right. It's about the better fuel efficiency with gas and the bigger cars.
All right. Apple is working on, wait for it, I'm going to try to figure this one out. Apple's working on touchless gesture control for future iPhones. Okay, so I'm going to try to do this. So as I understand it, in the future, my iPhone, put the camera on me, please.
There you go.
Thank you very much. Okay. So in the future, you're going to have your little iPhone like this, and we are told that you'll just be able to do that. And bingo, you get a different page. Or that, and the volume goes up.
Or that, and an email is shot off to your boss
Like
accidentally.
You hit the guy next to the face.
Now, is this a big deal? I mean, Ash, what do you think?
It's almost like one of those things where, gee whiz, you can do it, but do you really need it?
Exactly.
That's how I feel.
But I am a Neanderthal, and
Yes, you
everybody
are, a
knows
Luddite.
it.
Yes.
Knuckle dragger, the whole ball of wax.
Yes,
Hey,
you
this
are.
will make it easier for you to give more of your data away to Facebook and Google, which is why their stock is back up. Maybe that's your story.
One gesture.
A simple.
Have it all. You can have it all.
Take it.
Okay. Google employees. Oh, this one's got to me. There you go. Google employees protesting company involvement in a Pentagon project, a defense project. They don't care for the business of war. They don't like Google being involved in drone technology.
Yeah, they're saying that the drones will be used to locate targets. They're saying it will damage Google's brand and ability to compete for talent. You got to say this, though. At a time when the EU is coming down hard on Google with fines, they need all the contracts they can get with the EU chasing after them.
What I don't get here is this is supposed to help you actually target the bad guys better and limit damage to civilians.
exactly
So it's
right.
actually a safety move. You'd think Google would be interested in being part of that.
They live in this bubble in Silicon Valley. It's so good that finally there are people out there who will work with the Pentagon to keep this country safe.
But, you know, their motto is
Just saying.
do no evil, so that's what they're saying in the letter.
Since when has it been evil to defend yourself
Well,
against maniacs?
Yes,
with,
look at
weapons?
ISIS. Look at ISIS.
Please, don't get me started, Liz.
Just getting you started just now.
You're terrible. The latest data breaches, Delta and Sears. This is the new normal. We don't even discover. We don't even tell people how many people had their information breached.
Yeah.
No, it's which company.
Here's another one.
Sears?
Every single day it comes by.
Right.
Okay. All right. I think we've exhausted that one.
Yes.
The Dow is up 172 points, and it's almost 940. You know what that means? I've got to say goodbye to you, Scott, but I'm going to give you the last word because I've got a couple of extra seconds. What do you got to say?
I would use this market rebound as a way to re-up into some of the names that maybe you've been holding off on. So Facebook, Google, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, those are all names we own, all names we love, all names we've told you that you need to buy on dips. This is no different.
You want 10 seconds? Equal time there, Brett?
How can I match that? It's going to be good numbers in the job front tomorrow. Watch the wages. If they're near 3%, things could get interesting in the market.
Good point.
Okay, we got it. The Dow's up 140 points, and thank you very much indeed, Brian and Scott.